Dear students, I welcome all of you for this session on Internet of Things. In this session, let us discuss about the various operating systems that are supported by Raspberry Pi computer. Also, let us discuss about how to install an operating system to Raspberry Pi computer. To know about installing an operating system to Raspberry Pi computer, here I will demonstrate through installing the official Raspberry Pi operating system, that is Raspbian, provided by Raspberry Pi Foundation. Next, after installing an operating system to Raspberry Pi computer, we will see how to configure the Raspberry Pi computer. Now let us have a look at agenda of this session. As I said, first we are going to discuss about the various operating systems that are supported by Raspberry Pi computer. These various operating systems we can classify into groups, such as some operating systems to be based on Linux and some not Linux based. So first we'll see those operating systems not Linux based. Then we'll see which are Linux based. Then we'll look at media center operating systems, then audio operating systems, then Recalbox. So after we come to know about various operating systems supported by Raspberry Pi computer, as I said, we will continue with installing an operating system to Raspberry Pi computer. I said here I demonstrate through installing Raspbian, an official operating system for Raspberry Pi computer provided by Raspberry Pi Foundation. For installation, there are some steps we need to follow, such as we need to format SD card. So I said in previous session, right, SD card is where an operating system will be loaded. So after formatting SD card, we'll see how to install. So on successful installation, when I boot the operating system, when I turn on my Raspberry computer, how would be the first boot? We'll have a look at it. Then I'll give you some brief information about login information. At the end of this session, we'll look at some Raspberry Pi commands. So now let us have a look at various operating systems supported by Raspberry Pi computer. Of this various operating system, I said Raspbian, which is a Debian based Linux operating system, is the official Raspberry Pi operating system. Apart from this official Raspberry Pi operating system, Raspberry Pi computer also supports third-party operating systems. They are Ubuntu Mate, Snappy Ubuntu Core, Windows 10 IoT Core, RISC OS. and even more. Now, see the operating systems which are not Linux based and but are supported by Raspberry Pi computer or RISC OS Pi, FreeBSD, NetBSD, Plan 9, Windows 10 IoT, IQ. In this slide, you're going to look at those operating systems supported by Raspberry Pi computer and are Linux based. One is XBN, next OpenSUSE SUSE, third Raspberry Pi Fedora Remix, fourth Pydora, next Gentoo Linux, DietPi, CentOS, Kali Linux, ArcOS, KanoOS, Node SDK. The Media Center operating systems supported by Raspberry Pi computer are OSMC, OpenELEC, LibELEC, XBN, Rasplex. Audio operating systems supported by Raspberry Pi computer are Volumio, Pi Music Box, Unio Audio and others. Recalbox supported by Raspberry Pi computer, Appy Game Center, Laka, Chameleon Pi and Pipela. Now, we came to know various operating systems supported by Raspberry Pi computer. Now, let us take one operating system. Let us consider one operating system and let us see how we can install that operating system to Raspberry Pi computer. Here I am going to consider Raspbian operating system. Okay, there are two methods of installing Raspbian. Okay, so one, as you can see on the slide, pre-installed Noobs. The other one is Raspbian. So let me differentiate first. Let me tell you what actually they mean. What actually difference between these two? See, Noobs, Noobs. What it stands means new out of box software. I repeat, Noobs stands for new out of box software. I mean, in the while we consider Noobs for installation, okay, what actually it means, Noobs comes with a set of preloaded operating systems. Okay, so I mean to say, a Noobs means it comes with a preloaded set of operating system. Okay, I mean when you load Noobs to SD card, okay, and you boot, okay, got it. So what will it will prompt you various operating systems. Among those operating systems, you can make a choice to install to Raspberry Pi computer. Got it? So clear what is pre-installed Noobs? It comes with a set of various preloaded operating systems, and while installation we can choose among those choices. Next, Raspbian means we can go to official Raspberry Pi website. There we can directly download Raspbian operating system and we can load that to SD card. Got it? So clear? So the difference between the two ways of installing. In Noobs, it comes with various preloaded operating systems, and we need to make our choice. Raspbian, directly we are selecting Raspbian OS to be loaded to SD card. Now, what is the requirement specification? Okay, so here remember, always the SD card to which we are loading an operating system should be at least 8 GB. I repeat, the SD card to which we are loading an operating system should be at least 8 GB. Now, what are the steps we need to follow to set up operating system on Raspberry Pi computer? The first step is we need to format SD card. I repeat, the first step is we need to format SD card. So how to format SD card? We need an application named SD Formatter. I repeat, to format an SD card, we need an application SD Formatter. So you can Google for SD Formatter. Okay, it will in Google you will get a link for SD Association website. Just go through that SD Association website. Okay, and based on your operating system, whether it's a Windows or Macs or Unix, okay, select the SD formatter. Say for example SD format 4.0 and just download it. Okay, it's very easy to download. Just going to a official website of SD Association and selecting the SD formatter for our operating system and clicking download. So the next step is, once we have downloaded SD formatter, just we can install it. So when we double click, it will ask us to accept some terms and condition, and just we need to follow next until a finish button appears. So now we have installed SD formatter. Okay, so what I said, the first step in setting up and installing operating system to Raspberry Pi computer is we need to format SD card. Okay, so for formatting SD card we need an application SD formatter and we have installed. Okay, so now in your computer or laptop, okay, whatever it be, your computer or laptop, okay, we have SD card reader slot. We have an SD card reader slot. Okay, so insert your SD card with at least 8 GB capacity. Insert your SD card with at least 8 GB capacity to this SD card reader, which is a slot in your laptop or a computer. Now once you insert your SD card, okay, just go to my computer. Once you say in Windows, okay, once you insert SD card to SD card reader slot, just go to my computer and make a note of drive letter like C drive, D drive. What's the drive letter for which SD card is inserted? Okay, drive letter of SD card reader. Now, in SD formatter application, okay, in SD card for SD formatter application, okay, we need to select this drive. In SD format application, we need to select this drive and we need to just click on format. See, let us see in the next slide how it appears. See here, what you are seeing on the slide is an SD formatter app. It's a version 4.0. Okay, it's the version 4.0. So as usual, just what I need to know, the drive letter here in this case it is F. Assume in this case the drive letter, okay, of SD card reader slot. The slot to which SD card is inserted is F. Now, apart from that, there is one button option, right? Click on it. You will get a window in the right side. Click on option, you will get window in the right side. Option setting. There you can choose on quick. Okay. And I've selected format size option. Format size adjustment as on. Then OK. Then you just click on format. Your SD card gets formatted. So the next step, next step is installing, loading an operating system to SD card. Now in this step we'll see how to load an operating system to SD card. First, you go to Raspberry Pi Foundation website. I repeat, go to Raspberry Pi Foundation official website. Got it? And there is a menu or some link label name download. Okay, I repeat, go to Raspberry Pi Foundation official website and click on download section. Here you can either download Raspbian or you can download Noobs. Let us see installing through Noobs. Okay, so now what is it, Noobs? Full form is new out of box software. So what is the feature of Noobs? It comes with variety of, various preloaded, it comes with a set of various operating systems supported by Raspberry Pi computer, and we can make a choice. So click on Noobs. Click on Noobs, and now a zip file will be downloaded. Okay, click on Noobs. Click on the download zip button under Noobs. Okay, offline and network install, and select a folder to save this zip file. Usually it might get downloaded in your downloads folder. Now go to locate a folder where the zip file is downloaded. Okay, clear. Locate the folder where the zip file is downloaded. Now extract all the files from zip. Extract all the files from zip, and it says extract all the files from zip. So now it's very simple. Just copy or drag all the files in the extracted Noobs folder. I repeat, Now drag or copy all the files in the extracted Noobs folder to SD card that is formatted. I repeat, copy or drag all the files in the extracted Noobs folder to the SD card that is formatted. Now the necessary files will be transferred to SD card. Okay, all the files, necessary files will be transferred to SD card. Now after all the files are transferred to SD card, remove the SD card from SD card reader slot. Okay, after all the files getting transferred to SD card, remove the SD card from SD card reader slot. Now insert this SD card into the SD card slot of Raspberry Pi computer. I repeat, now insert the SD card, okay, to SD card slot in your Raspberry Pi computer. Now for your Raspberry Pi computer, you have inserted SD card in the SD card slot. Right? Clear? So when I say computer, that computer should have a monitor, right? Clear? So even that computer should have some input devices like keyboard, mouse, right? Clear? So keyboard, mouse, it's an input, and monitor serves as a display, as a monitor serves as an output. So now for your Raspberry Pi computer, okay, there are ports. Okay, I mean USB ports are available. For that USB ports, you can connect your USB keyboard. You can plug USB keyboard. You can plug USB mouse. And for monitor cables, there is an HDMI interface in Raspberry Pi computer. Okay, HDMI interface in Raspberry Pi computer. You can connect monitor through monitor. You can connect monitor to Raspberry Pi computer through HDMI interface. Next, so now we have connected. You have connected USB keyboard, USB mouse, and monitor, right? So now I need to turn on my Raspberry Pi computer, right? So I mean, to turn on Raspberry Pi computer, I need to give a power source. I need to give the power source. Okay, I need to connect the power source. Okay, so in Raspberry Pi computer, there is a micro USB port. I repeat, in Raspberry Pi computer, there is a micro USB port through which we can pass the power supply to Raspberry Pi computer. Okay, so now plug the USB cable to this Raspberry Pi. Okay, now you're turned on, okay, your Raspberry Pi computer. I mean, you're given a power supply to Raspberry Pi computer. As soon as power supply is given to Raspberry Pi computer, Raspberry Pi will boot, and a window. Now see, listen, this is about installation, right? So at present, what is there in SD card? All the files in Noobs folder, all the extracted files in Noobs folder are in SD card. Clear? But not yet. Till now I have not installed operating system. I repeat, in SD card as of now there are all extracted files all extracted files which were in the noobs folder. I repeat, in SD card now there are all extracted files in the noobs folder. Got it? So now I need to install the operating system. I said noobs it as set of various operating system. Now I need to make a choice. Clear? Noobs is a set of various operating systems. I need to make a choice. So when you give power supply to Raspberry Pi computer, okay, Raspberry Pi will boot and a window will appear, as I said, with a list of different operating systems that we can install. A window will appear with a list of different operating systems that we can install. Okay, I mean to say it may show the choice like which is next slide I show you now. See here, this is for the first boot when I given power supply to Raspberry Pi computer, right? This is the first window that is going to appear on the monitor. And I said noobs is nothing but set of various operating systems, right, supported by Raspberry Pi computer. So in this you can see some choices. One is Raspbian, okay, Arch, OpenELEC, Pydora, RISC OS, Raspi BMC. Apart, there are some more. Got it? Okay, clear with this? So on first boot we'll see this window. Now let us make our choice as Raspbian. You can choose other options also, but let me select Raspbian and let me click on install. Okay, so I've selected Raspbian and I clicked on install. So installation is not complicated, it's very simple. Raspbian will run through its installation process and this can finish in a while. Okay, so now just what next until finish. Raspbian is installed successfully. Now when Raspbian is installed completely, when Raspbian operating system is installed completely, okay, the first thing we need to do is, I repeat, once the Raspbian operating system installed successfully, installed completely, in the next boot we need to configure Raspberry Pi. Okay, we need to configure Raspberry Pi. I repeat, the first thing after installing Raspbian or Raspberry Pi operating system to Raspberry Pi computer is to configure Raspberry Pi. Okay, setting the time, setting the date, setting the region. Got it? I repeat, configuring means setting date, time, region. Okay, enabling the camera. Got it? Enabling camera and creating a user's account. Clear? So let us see practically. So now this is what I said. First boot, choices. I have selected Raspbian. I have clicked on install. Installation process continues. Raspbian gets installed completely. Now one thing, in the next boot, okay, next boot or the first boot after installation, okay, See, all Raspbian operating systems comes with one user account, that is a default user account named as Pi. I repeat, all Raspbian operating systems comes with default user account, and the user is Pi, and the default password is Raspberry. Got it? So default user is with name Pi and password is Raspberry, as you can see on the slide. I repeat, default username is Pi, default password is Raspberry. So sometimes the OS might have been appeared in the form of command based, as in the form of command line. Suppose in that case you want to enter into graphical user interface, type the command start X and press enter. I repeat, type the command start X and press enter. You will see the GUI as you can see on the slide. This is the window of a Raspberry Pi operating system, that is Raspbian. And in this slide, you're just seeing a Raspberry Pi file explorer like my computer in Windows. So my computer in Windows, there we call C to be the root, right? The drive C to be the root, we can consider. So here in Raspberry Pi computer, the front slash, there's a forward slash is known as root, root directory, like my computer, it's a root. As you can see in this file explorer, under root, that is slash, there's a home directory, and under home there is one user directory, that is Pi, the default user. Got it? And in this user account, there are some directories as we can see on the slide, like desktop, Python games. This is just a Raspberry Pi file explorer. Now we have console, in Raspberry Pi computer. Console is like command mode. Just click on that icon in the taskbar. Click on the icon that is pointed by a red arrow on the taskbar. A console will appear. Here you can enter some commands to create a file, commands to copy a file, commands to create a directory. Got it? Commands to know date, time, and other Raspberry Pi commands. Now what I said, after installing completely, once Raspbian installed completely to SD card in the next boot, that is the first boot after installation, I need to configure Raspberry Pi computer, means setting date, time, region, and other. So this is that configuration tool. This is a configuration tool. See here in this console, in this console you just type the command raspi-config. This window will appear. Here you can set date, time, region, and other things. Okay, so clear with this. So hope you're clear with installing Raspbian operating system to Raspberry Pi computer. And after successful installation of Raspbian operating system, how to configure Raspberry Pi computer. Now let us have a look at some Raspberry Pi commands. Okay, see here I said some commands. Okay, it's very clear, simple. Some general commands. See, just now I said raspi-config. It's a configuration settings menu. Means when you execute this command raspi-config, you will get this configuration settings menu. Okay, clear. Next, clear. It's like a CLS in DOS prompt. Means clears everything in the terminal. Got it? Clear is a command to clear everything in the terminal. Date, to know the current date. Okay, reboot. See, reboot, the name itself implies rebooting the Raspberry Pi computer immediately. Restarting Raspberry Pi computer. Shut down iPhone H now. Means to shut down the system immediately. Nano. See, nano is most oftenly used command. Okay, it's a text editor. I repeat, nano is most oftenly used command, which is a text editor, like a notepad in Windows. Okay, here nano. It, for example, here I have passed the example.txt as argument to nano command. Means it opens the file named example.txt. We can make changes and we can save it. Power of is like shutdown. It shutdowns immediately. Shutdown iPhone H01:22 means here it won't shut down immediately, rather it shutdowns at a specified time, 1:22 a.m. Apt iPhone get update. It's very important. See, one more thing. After configuration, the next two things you need to do, after installing and configuring, the next two commands you need to execute. Always remember, it's very important. Apt iPhone get update and apt iPhone get upgrade. Got it? Let me tell you what actually they are. Apt iPhone get update means synchronizes the list of packages on our system to the list in the repositories. Synchronizes the list of packages on our system to the list in the repositories. I mean to say, let me say, you have installed an operating system, right? There might be some package already, and a new version of the package might have been in the repository. So we need to update my existing package with the new version. So this command synchronizes the list of packages in our system to the list in the repositories. So I said, right, this is the command. First immediately after configuring, this is the command I should execute. So use this before installing new packages to make sure we are installing the latest version. Apt iPhone get upgrade means here It upgrades all of the software packages we have installed. Okay, upgrades all of the software packages we have installed. StartX, I said right. Suppose my Raspberry Pi computer is booted in the command mode. To turn into graphical user interface mode, I need to use StartX. Let me have a look at some directory and file commands. Okay, to create some directory and a current directory, we will use mkdir command. Okay, in this case, mkdir creates a new directory named new underscore directory. mv is a command. Okay, it moves the file or a directory named new folder, in this case, to a specified location. Okay, mv is also used to rename the file. Okay, or in case of we can move the directory to some other location. rm means remove the file, delete the file. Got it? rmdir means remove the directory, delete the directory. Very important, when I exit rmdir, okay, assume we are in current directory. Under this current directory, there is one directory which I want to remove. The condition is that this directory can be removed only if it is empty. I repeat, a directory can be removed only if it is empty. If it has at least one file, the directory can't be removed. Touch command creates a new empty file in the current directory. Okay, touch command is used to create a new empty file. Cat, there's some file already existing. Okay, to view the contents of the file, say new file.txt. I need to make use of cat command. cd, similar to DOS command cd, change directory. ls -l, ls means listing. Okay, ls is a listing command, list all the files in the directory. Here ls -l, -l means an option, means it lists all the files along with its attributes. So some Raspberry Pi networking and internet commands. Okay, of this, the first command iwconfig. Okay, this command we can make use to check which wireless adapter is currently active. Okay, to know which wireless adapter is currently active, we need to make use of iwconfig. To know wireless configuration status, the same command which we use in DOS, ifconfig. Ping, already we know, right? Ping means we are testing for the connectivity, whether any two devices in a network are having connection or connection is lost, right? So ping test connectivity between two devices connected on a network. wget, okay, it's a command to download some file from the web. wget is a command to download file from the web, and in this case I specified one website URL. Well, I have specified one URL as an argument to wget command. In that URL, there is a file new file.txt. and that file will be downloaded. Okay. Nmap. Nmap scans the network, okay, and list connected devices, protocol, port number, and other information. Network map. Nmap means scans the network and list all connected devices, protocols, port number, and other information. IW list. WLAN 0 scan means it looks for currently available wireless networks. See here, suppose I want to know currently available wireless networks, I can make use of IW list command. So this is about Raspberry Pi networking and internet commands. So this is about this session. Okay, let me wind up. Before winding up, let me see about some system information commands. Okay, we add some more commands which we call system information commands. Cat I said, right? To display content of file. Here in this case I have shown /proc/mem info, means it shows the detail about memory. Okay, next cat /proc/version shows which version of Raspberry Pi we are using. df-s shows information about available disk space. df/ shows how much free disk space is available. What is the front slash? It's a root directory. Free shows how much free memory is available. Okay. df, how much free disk. Free, how much free memory. Hostname iPhone. It shows the IP address of Raspberry Pi computer. ls USB. Okay, list the USB hardware connected to Raspberry Pi. Okay, it lists all the USB hardwares like USB keyboard, USB mouse, okay, USB camera, USB speaker, which and all connected to Raspberry Pi computer. VEGNCMD measure temp shows the temperature of the CPU. VGENCMD get mem arm and VGENCMD get mem GPU shows the memory split between the CPU and GPU. Let us wind up this session. Thank you for listening.